Adam here from the Walser Automotive Group, and what I want to do today is take you on a test drive. So next to me here, I have a 2025 Nissan Frontier in the Pro-4X trim. We'll look at the interior, exterior, some of the other trim level specifics, go for a spin around, see what it's like out on the road. Okay, so now we're behind the wheel of the Pro-4X Frontier, and there's some pretty big noticeable changes for 2025. Now we have to start with the new infotainment display. This is a 12.3-inch display, and it now adds wireless Android Auto, which it didn't have previously. And I've got an iPhone, as we usually always have our phones with us. We've got wireless charging down here and wireless Apple CarPlay for this model as well. So that does make a pretty big difference. The big screen is certainly noticeable. They added the little Frontier logo down here as well. It's really cool. It's a very responsive and fast system also. There's pretty much no lag in the system. I love the update there. It does make a big difference. There's quite a few different trim levels and configurations when looking at the Frontier. This particular one's going to be the crew cab with the 5-foot bed, so it's just a little bit under 5 feet, or there is a 6-foot bed option, so that one would come in just a little bit over 6 feet. Now the cab, there's two configurations here. This one's going to give you a little bit more room. I even noticed maybe a little bit more rear leg room when comparing to maybe the Colorado or the Tacoma. I was able to hop back there. It's a little tight, obviously, in these mid-sized trucks, no matter which one you're looking at, but those rear seats fold, they move around, there's charging back there, so there is a lot of convenience for that second row. Now, a few other changes when just looking at the entire Frontier lineup for 25. You now have a tilt or telescopic steering wheel depending on whichever trim you're looking at, which makes a big difference whether you're looking for a work truck in just the base trim level or a fully kitted out off-road vehicle like we have here today. That does make it a little bit easier to get comfortable in here. Now on the SV grade, the higher level one, there will be a 6-way power driver's seat that also adds lumbar, but in my seat, I have lumbar, I have power in here. It's really nice, and Nissan seats are always extremely comfortable. So one other last thing, all Frontiers are going to come standard with that rear sliding window now. It's not going to be a power setup, but you can manually open it up, whether it's to get a little air in here, get the dog comfortable in the back. I love those rear sliding windows. It's a pretty great feature in all of these Frontiers. All right, so that kind of covers just the basics for the updates to 25, but for now, let's put it in drive. We'll go for a spin around and cover some more stuff when we're on the go. Now, what powers these new Nissan Frontiers is going to be the same 3.8-liter 6-cylinder. So they haven't gone to a turbocharged engine yet. Nissan is holding strong on the V6. This is also going to have a 9-speed automatic transmission. It's really smooth and really comfortable out on the road. You can get it in the 2-wheel drive or the 4-wheel drive. Obviously, you can see there's a little bit of snow on the ground. We're up here in Minnesota, so I think the 4-wheel drive is kind of the clear option for the Midwest. Fuel economy wise, you do dip a little bit with comparing it maybe to, like I said, the Tacoma or the Colorado or anything like that. This one's going to be looking at about 20 on the highway. Not a huge difference. Those ones are going to be low 20s, but with the selectable 4-wheel drive you had in here, I think it's worth that trade-off to have that bite and grip, especially if you're going to be doing some off-roading. It's a pretty cool setup on this truck. Now, the overall ride and drive, like I said, you're probably comparing it to a few other mid-sized trucks. The steering is a little bit heavier in this model. Not exactly in a bad way, it's just a little bit different. That was something that took me a little bit to get used to. Now that I'm used to it, I really like it. Kind of makes it feel more like a full-size truck than a smaller truck. It's not intrusive, it doesn't wander on the highway. That heavy steering does kind of help you out and kind of give you a little bit more of an off-road truck feel to it, if that sort of makes sense. Now, looking on the exterior for 2025, they did make some updates to the front and rear of the Pro-4X. This one's going to have a different fascia and bumper design. You obviously have the lower tow hooks up front on the Pro-4X grade, and it's also going to have a front skid plate. So if you do find yourself doing a little bit of off-roading, you are going to get some protection there. Then out back on the tailgate, they also made an update to the Pro-4X model. So that kind of has a bar that runs through, kind of reminiscent of the Titan, how that looked, but it does look pretty cool. You've got the Pro-4X logo on there, as well as on the back of the tailgate. And you also do have the logo back there as well. It puts it onto the bed of the truck, so letting everyone know that you do have the Pro-4X model. Now, another change for 25 is the wheels. So this one has the Dyna Pro tires on it, but it's a 17-inch wheel. It's kind of a beadlock look or design to it. It fits the truck really nicely. This one obviously is in the green color, but for 25, they added one different color, which is the Afterburn orange. It does work really nicely since you do have all the orange treatment inside, but I think it also looks pretty cool with the green and kind of that gray or titanium wheel. Now, like I said, in the truck bed, so you have a crew cab 5-foot bed here, which is going to be kind of the standard layout I find for the Frontier. It works really nice. In the bed, you have the Utilitrack system, so you can kind of set different clamps through there, whether you're putting dirt bikes, putting camping equipment or lumber back there, anything you're doing, you can pretty much configure that to work. And there's also LED bed lighting, there's a cargo light back there, and you also have that standard plug-in, which inside here you can flip on or off. Now that's going to give you 400 watts of power out back, so if you're on the job site, campsite, that also is a pretty cool feature for the Pro-4X. So this one will get a spray and bed liner as well, which is pretty nice. It's going to keep the bed from kind of getting beat up, and I like just how it looks and works for being a truck. Now merging out onto the highway here, we'll put our foot down. You know, you're not breaking any land speed records in this truck, but it does get up, moves along. Like I said, that 9-speed is extremely comfortable. I really like that. It made such a big difference in these trucks when they switched over to that. And this is easily a livable truck. Now on the inside here, like I said, that 12.3-inch display, it's giving me wireless Apple CarPlay, text messaging, Google Maps, Spotify, everything is gonna be built into there. And I also have voice controls on the steering wheel. So I can click that, I can pretty much ask it to do anything I'd like, whether I'm behind the wheel here to not keep my attention from being on the road ahead. That is pretty cool. Now, we also have a digital gauge cluster here. So there's a cool little screen when you fire up the truck, you get the Frontier logo that pops up in here, and you can pretty much keep track of all your pertinent information and more. You can also go through, look at your driver assist features, lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring, emergency braking, everything is built into there. If you don't want it, it's as simple as just clicking on it, turning it off, and it's gone. So that I also like, that they made it really easy right in here. You're not digging through the menus on the side. And I've got adaptive cruise control on this model. So I can set 3, 2, 1 distance ahead of me. It'll keep that distance on the road. It makes those road trips or just eating up a lot of miles really easy and safe because of all the emergency braking and all of the Nissan safety features. Now we have to talk about the interior treatment. So the orange runs through all of the Pro X and Pro 4X models. I really like it. I like that they added the Frontier in here. The little grab handles down below have orange stitching and kind of an orange plastic that runs in, goes onto the door. It does work really nicely. And Nissan to me always has some of the most comfortable seats. It's kind of those zero gravity style seats. They work great. From the Rogue to the Frontier to the new Armada, they're unbelievable. You get minimal fatigue, and like I said, we also have the lumbar control with this model. It's so great. I love these seats. I could easily eat up a couple 100 miles a day and not be bothered to even think about it. Now for the Minnesota winters, this truck does get a remote start on the key fob, and these seats are heated, along with one of my favorite features, which is the heated leather wrapped steering wheel. So this also has the orange stitching and logo on here, but when it's heated, this morning it was only about 30 degrees, so firing that up is a really nice feature and definitely something I like in here. Now, like I mentioned briefly before, the rear seats, those seats do fold up. So if you want to throw some stuff in the back, you can also flip them down. And there's a USB-C and USB-C charger back there, so you can keep the kids busy. And you can actually put a car seat back there. Yes, it would be a little bit tight, but you know, for a mid-sized truck, like I said, I feel like there was almost more room in the Frontier than maybe one of the Tacomas that I had recently driven. But overall, if you think 99% of the time, it's just you in the truck, you're bopping around, you've got your wireless Apple CarPlay, I've got my selectable 4-wheel drive in here, and if I want a weekend warrior, I've still got the truck bed and plenty of off-road capability. Now, one other thing that's pretty cool in the Pro 4X, I think it's up to about 12 miles per hour, I can pull up the backup camera. So there's kind of a weird intersection up here, and earlier this morning I was able to click the camera button, and you can hear that would pull up that camera, and that's gonna let you see kind of their trail cam setup. So you can look left to right, behind you, out front. Does make it really easy. Maybe the kids left some stuff in the driveway as well. You can look around, and that is a pretty great feature. I love that it's easily accessible, just a button right here on the dash. So ride and drive, pretty good. Now, like I said, this one's got the off-road tires. They do maybe make a little bit more noise than if you were looking at the SV trim level or kind of more the on-road focus, but I think for the trade-off, it looks pretty cool. And if you did find yourself maybe up in the woods, or if you got a cabin doing some off-roading, these tires are great. They look cool, they perform really well, even in the snow that we had the last couple weeks here. I mean, this truck, we have to talk about the price. So MSRP on this one is right around $51,000. The time of filming, they're a few $1,000s back from that, so it makes it a very competitive choice in the market. Like I said, the Tacomas can be $51,000 and still have cloth inside. This one's pretty much fully loaded. It's got all the stuff, the sunroof up above, the spray-in bed liner, the 4-wheel drive, wireless CarPlay and heated seats. I mean, there's a lot of equipment in here, and for the money, I think the average new car price right now is something like $49,000. So you're pretty much on par, a little bit less than that. You're getting so much equipment, capabilities, and I know for a lot of people, not having that turbocharged engine is quite a plus. To have just the 6-cylinder, I mean, it works really well. The vehicle performs nicely. The gearbox is very smooth out on the road. Again, I'm always very surprised driving these. I think if you're in the market, Tacoma, Colorado, maybe you're looking at the Jeep Gladiator. Updates now, they actually added, so this can tow over 7,150 pounds when properly equipped. So it's very competitive that way. It's got a great payload as well. I mean, there's just a lot to like in these Nissan Frontiers. So I think if you're in the market, get out, take one for a spin, and see what you think. Now that was just a quick look and drive at the 25 Nissan Frontier. Now if you have any other questions or you'd like to schedule a test drive, you can visit us online at walser.com or stop by any one of our Nissan locations. We'd be more than happy to help. Thanks again for watching.